Nigeria is fast looking like Cameroon. That the president of Cameroon, in fact, he's a resident abroad.
Yes.
He's just coming to do election, winning votes, and going back to Geneva or Switzerland. If Obi says the president spent over 190 days, he took 46 trips, is that not a cause for concern?
Let's talk about the big question on former presidential candidate Peter Obi's mind. Where is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? It's also the title of a detailed post on X where Obi wrote on Monday, where he highlights the fact that the president spent 196 days abroad in 2025. For context, that's more than half of the year outside Nigeria. Now, this is the tweet, and I'll read it in part. He says, "This lack of presence starkly contrasts with what we see in comparable developing nations where leaders step up in times of crisis. In Nigeria, after U.S. military strikes on our soil, our president remained silent. Instead of directly addressing the nation, Nigerians learned about these critical events from foreign media, from Americans, and vague communications from aides rather than from their own leader. Are we to believe that Nigeria is being governed, or is it merely being managed from elsewhere? Leadership isn't simply about issuing press releases. It's about standing before the people, engaging with them, and offering clarity. Nigerians are eager to hear from their president through direct media briefings. They deserve to understand the state of their country. In a time of crisis, the absence of leadership is not just troubling, it's perilous. Silence in the face of crisis is the loudest form of failure." Now, Obi also highlights the fact that he would want the president to engage more with the media. But what's interesting is the fact that historically, there really haven't been that many Nigerian presidents that have been open when it comes to directly engaging with the public or being willing to conduct one-on-one interviews with the press. And Dr. Abati, I'll come to you.
Jonathan did better. Jonathan
exactly, which is why, Dr. Abati, I'll come to you on this. Peter Obi's statement.
Okay, Mr. Peter Obi is asking, where is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Well, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is currently in Abu Dhabi on the invitation of the president of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, attending what is known as the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. And the theme of that conference, January 11 to 15, is the Nexus of Nest. All systems go. Before then, the president of Nigeria traveled on December 28 to Europe, we were told. But we later discovered that he was in France. And it was from France that he has now arrived at an important, foreign policy event. And there's nothing wrong in that regard. But the major grouse of Mr. Peter Obi is that in 2025, the president spent 196 days out of 365 days abroad. And that, more or less he became an absentee president. And that this year, his warning is that absenteeism should not be the approach to governance. That presence is very important. He said, we demand presence. He says being absent is not governance, it is neglect. Okay, Mr. Peter Obi, where is he coming from? He's a leader of the opposition. He's an opposition political figure. So he will naturally raise questions, interrogate government. So he's doing what he's supposed to do, to draw attention to things. But, the truth of the matter, as he also pointed out, is that there are issues on the ground in Nigeria. And we need the president, he says, to be more on the ground, to address those issues, the crisis, which is the word that he used, instead of traveling all over the world and being absent. As I've said, this is an opposition political leader drawing attention to what he considers a major omission. But you can be sure that, Mr. Ononuga or other spokespersons of the government, Sunday Dare and the rest of them, we have a ready answer for him to say that, well, whether he's in Europe or he's in Abu Dhabi, the president is still serving the interest of Nigeria. But I think there are other Nigerians too, apart from Mr. Obi, who say that, we love our president so much. We would like him to be more visible at home rather than traveling abroad. But I think the caveat to that is that this government has been, active enough in telling us at any particular time where the president is. Now, whether he travels too often or he travels with too large a delegation, those are other questions. And as for the delegation, the president has also addressed that previously. But I always say that the president of Nigeria is the chief foreign policy officer of the country. And, you know, a government that is looking for investment, that is trying to engage with the world, that is trying to have the Nigerian voice out there, you know, you cannot run away from this kind of situation.
Right.
But Mr. Peter Obi says there was no New Year message because the president was not around. But it's a popular, you know, kind of a concern.
Okay, very
about
quickly.
the president.
Very quickly, literally a couple of sentences. The president attended this Abu Dhabi Sustainability Summit last year, 2025. Two outcomes. The first was that we were promised that the president of UAE was to visit Nigeria within the year. Of course, that hasn't happened. We're wondering, hopefully this year in this visit we can get an update. The second thing was that Nigeria and UAE signed the KEPA deal, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which was supposed to create an investment and trade framework between the two countries. That was the sort of big takeaway from the summit last year. 1 year later, that agreement still hasn't been signed. So I'm hoping that as we are going back a year later, that maybe this year, the second visit, second time round, maybe we can get this agreement signed.
Very key point.
And Dr. Abati, he has never always told us where he went. This last one,
present-minded in issuing press releases.
No, Dr. Abati.
Which Mr. Obi says is just press release and propaganda.
Dr. Abati, he has never always told us where he went. This last one he went, he said Europe. Europe is not enough a place. It was when, after they wanted to show that he was working and they released the photos that they used AI to spruce up, that they showed us that he was in France eating lunch. We didn't know he was in France.
And he met with the president of Rwanda.
That was when they wanted to show us off that he was working, that he was at least doing something, having meetings. Then they now showed us he was in France. They didn't tell us he was in Europe. In fact, they've been very ambivalent about mentioning the word that he's going to France. And with due respect, please, public disclosure, I don't know. What's the thing about France? France. You know why I'm saying this? Because we had this ordeal too with President Buhari of blessed memory. UK. That is even his handlers then had to come and justify and say he's been using a doctor for over 30-something years and all of that. What's this thing? That was how President Buhari spent many days abroad. You see, a nation that truly wants to grow, we should be able to introspect. The leaders must be on ground to get the work.
Right.
Nigeria is fast looking like Cameroon. That the president of Cameroon, in fact, he's a resident abroad.
Yes.
He's just coming to do election, winning votes, and going back to Geneva or Switzerland. If Obi says the president spent over 190 days, he took 46 trips. Is that not a cause for concern? Because with all the trips we are seeing, we are not seeing any foreign investment. Vimbai, God bless you for bringing out some of the promises based on the trip. We didn't see anything out of the trip.
Maybe he's gone back to
2024 too. If I'm going to check this, I'm sure he spent over 100 days abroad the year before. For good measure, with our own common, with our own private jet, with our jets now that they have allocated about $10 billion to in the space of since he got to power up to this time. I mean, 10 billion naira to be able to fix. Then over $150 million that they used to budget that the National Assembly keeps claiming it didn't pass through us. This is our own national commonwealth. Somebody we should not use our own money, for sweatshop or something. Please, we should be realistic. All this job getting about, we should stay at home and get the job done.
Vimbai say the agreement that was signed, we haven't seen the result. That's not the responsibility of the president. We have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I've said again and again on this table that Ministry of Foreign Affairs has lost most of its best hands.
Right.
Its golden era has passed. When you sign an MOU, there are desk officers with assigned responsibilities who are supposed to follow through. It's not the president that will carry MOU and be pursuing it. That is the job of other officers. So that's how foreign policy works, either in Nigeria or elsewhere.
Right.
Okay? Thank you.